Today we're going to talk a little bit more about automobile insurance coverage that you need to purchase when you go see your automobile insurance agent. The coverage I'm recommending is called uninsured, underinsured coverage. Let me tell you exactly what that means. Let's assume that you're involved in a car crash and the person that strikes you does not have insurance coverage. What do? Well, if you don't have uninsured, underinsured coverage, you've got a problem. You're going to be incurring medical expenses, and unless you have health insurance coverage, you're going to be responsible for those medical expenses, irrespective of the fact that someone else hurt you. So, the way you protect yourself from this situation is you carry what's called uninsured motorist coverage. Now, a lot of times when you go to your automobile insurance agent, he doesn't really tell you about this coverage because it's my belief that a lot of automobile insurance carriers really don't want you to know that they offer the coverage. It's not expensive, and the reason you carry it is obvious. In that same scenario where the adverse driver didn't have car insurance coverage to protect you, you have uninsured coverage that will protect you because your carrier then steps in the shoes of the adverse driver and compensates you for the value of your personal injury claim, including medical expenses, up to the limits of the coverage that you purchase. You can purchase $15,000 in coverage, $25,000 in coverage, $50,000, $100,000, $300,000, $500,000 in uninsured, underinsured coverage. Now, let me distinguish between uninsured and underinsured. By statute, there really is no difference. The coverage that when you purchase uninsured, you also purchase underinsured coverage. Now, the reason that becomes important is because oftentimes the adverse driver is underinsured. Let's assume you have a bad car crash. The adverse driver hurts you badly. You spend a week in the hospital. He has $15,000 in coverage, which, by the way, you can still drive in Nevada carrying $15,000 in coverage. Well, you've got a $50,000 hospital bill, and you have no health insurance. $15,000 is all you driver, at least the adverse driver's insurance company. And most people who carry minimum limits do not have big bank accounts. So you could end up in a situation where you're not at fault and you're upside down financially because the adverse driver did not have sufficient insurance coverage. How do you protect yourself? Underinsured motorist coverage. I recommend to my clients that they maintain a minimum of $100,000 in uninsured, underinsured coverage to protect them in the event that the adverse driver either is uninsured or does not have sufficient limits to satisfy the medical expenses and the value of the personal injury claim. I can tell you based on my experience that probably 90% of the people who drive in our fair city drive around with either without insurance or with minimum limits because they're not thinking ahead. Their view is, how much insurance can I buy so I can drive? Not how much insurance can I buy so I can protect someone that I hurt.